Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for EVE Echoes. Today I wanted to sit down and talk to you all about the patch notes that we've got for today's update, the November 25th, 2020 update, if you're watching this in the future for whatever reason. Now crikey, are we really on the 25th of November already? Only a month away from Christmas. That is terrifying. Like seriously, that's really snuck up on me this year. Now, like most of my other patch note videos, this of course, firstly, is my opinion and my opinion alone. I'm going to be talking about what the patch notes are, what that means, and what my opinions are in regards to those changes. My opinions. You will have your own opinions, of course, as well. That's fine. Let me know in the comment section down below if you disagree or if there's a particular part that excites you about these patch notes. I would love to have a chat with you folks about what these changes mean and what you're excited about. Now, the other part of it being a patch note video is that there are going to be no flashy graphics at all. Sorry, no explosions, no laser cannons or missiles or afterburners, that kind of thing. This is going to be just the text. You'll also notice I don't have the face cam on this time. Unfortunately, that's due to technical constraints at the moment. I don't have quite the setup sorted due to all kinds of factors that I won't get into at the moment. So what I'm going to do, as I said, is I'm just going to go through the patch notes and we're going to talk about what these mean and my opinions on each of those as we go. If you do enjoy this video at the end of it, let me know by hitting like on it, sub to the channel for all things EVE Echoes, ding that notification bell to never miss an upload, and if you do want to go the extra mile to help support this channel, you can do so by joining us on Patreon. Details are on screen now. Every pledge, every dollar really helps. I actually really enjoy doing these patch note videos as well. They're a lot more relaxed and just, it's nice to sit and just read and talk basically. It reminds me of doing a podcast. Anyway, let's jump right in to actually having a look at what these new changes are. So first of all, new features. Number 1, reduced the drop rate of dead space modules and reduced the debris drop rate of some enemies. Okay, that's an interesting change. Obviously, Dead Space modules are supposed to be rare, and right now, obviously, the nullsec alliances, like Void, Golden Horde, GenFed, we do tend to have a monopoly on a lot of that Dead Space loot. What is very cheap for me can be super expensive on the market, theoretically, but there's a lot of that loot going around at the moment, which drops the price and means, again, this kind of goes back to them making the storyline missions that little bit harder as well in the October-November update. Basically, there was no point to Mark 5, Mark 7, or Mark 9 loot. Storyline Meta Level 5 and Storyline Meta Level 8 is so ubiquitous, so easy to get, that it's so cheap that you kind of can skip over everything else, and then it's kind of just straight into Dead Space from there. This makes Dead Space a bit rarer. Ultimately, that increases the value of it, and that helps the market quite a bit. Number 2, adjustment of inertia modifier on the Sigil, Badger, Nereus, and Wreath class, and adjustment of the inertia modifier for the Sigil 2, Badger 2, Nereus 2, and Wreath class 2. That is points 2 and 3. Now, I've checked with these, that is reducing the inertia modifier across the board quite drastically. I think that's actually halving all of those ships' inertia modifier. That means that they will align, accelerate, decelerate much faster than they currently are. That means their time to warp is going to be drastically dropped as well. That's a very nice change there. Allows those ships to actually provide the role properly of a blockade runner. Yes, they're not immune to the interdictor spheres by any stretch, but they are able to warp and get away quite quickly. Number 4, the same ships there, and I think it's in number 5 as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, number 5, it's number 2. Number 4, we're getting the warp speed of those ships changing by 4.5 astronomical units per second. So they are getting a speed increase as well. They warp faster, they reach warp faster, and they are faster at warp. Number 5 was adding the exclusive cargo hold for the Sigil, Badger, Nereus, Wreath class, Sigil 2, Badger 2, Nereus 2, and Wreath class 2. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't checked this part. This is one of the bits of the patch notes that I actually, when I read it, I missed and forgot. But I'm assuming, and you can check this, that the Sigil, Badger, Nereus, and Wreath will have the same cargo holds, theoretically, as the Mammoth, the Bestower, the Terror, and the Kairos. That, you know, so if you're used to your Mammoth having an ore hold, then the Wreath class will have that ore hold too, and the Badger and the Terror should both have ship holds. It might be different, but I'd assume it's that way. It doesn't actually say here, but that is how I would expect that to be. Now this change I really, really like. The warp speed of the 4 shuttles has been changed to 6.5 AU per second. That means that the shuttles are actually now better at getting you from A to B than the standard capsule. You can warp quicker and get across high sec or low sec or wherever you are much faster thanks to a drastically improved warp speed. I think they've gone from, what, 4.5 astronomical units per second all the way up there to 6.5, or I think actually they may have only been 4 slower than the capsule. Either way, really nice change and gives a nice little bonus to those of us who bought those shuttles. If you did buy a shuttle and you used it in like the shuttle caption competition, then now you've got even more reason to use it, which is pretty cool as far as I'm concerned. Number 7, roll bonus adjustment of the Drake. Medium missile torpedo kinetic damage plus 12.5% and medium missile torpedo thermal damage plus 12.5% as well. Now, the Drake is one of those ships that a lot of you have been asking, when am I going to do a video on it? I did do one back in the final test, got to fly one, thoroughly enjoyed the Drake. Obviously, it's a bit of a meme-worthy ship. When it arrived here in Echoes, the nerfs that it got between the final test and launch actually just made it worse than the Cyclone in pretty much every way. The idea was always that the Cyclone was a little less damaging but tankier, the Drake wasn't as tanky but did more damage, and that just wasn't the case in Echoes. The Drake just was not as good across the board. Now, those bonuses have changed from 10% to 12.5%. That means we've gone from 50% up to 60% on the damages. It's not a huge increase, but it does mean that the Drake now is considerably more powerful than the Cyclone, or rather, not considerably, it's noticeably more powerful than the Cyclone in regards to its damage output, meaning the Minmatar Cyclone is your missile battlecruiser for tanking, whereas the Drake becomes the Caldari battlecruiser used for a much more aggressive combat role. That actually gives me some quite interesting thoughts, and I'm looking forward now to doing a Drake video. Number 8, NPC adjustments. The speed of storyline elites and anomaly elites is reduced by 18%, and the speed of Dead Space elites is reduced by 40%. Oh, the memes. The memes we've had on this about how ridiculously fast some of the storyline elites are, like watching a storyline elite battle cruiser with apparently a micro warp drive the size of a planet being able to outrun a micro warp drive frigate with the memes. I'm kind of glad that's changing. I think that was a point where it's like, you know, these elites are probably a bit too much in the combat anomaly, so toning them down, I think I'm all for that, though I will miss those memes. Number 9, added description for late claims on the monthly login rewards screen. Extra clarity, always nice, nothing really much to say. Number 10, improved the upper left corner content display. This is like, I think this is like when you get a bounty come through, or when you buy an item off the market, or when an item sells. So they're just improving the clarity of those to give you an idea of what is actually, what has actually just happened, what sold, what skill finish training, that kind of thing. Again, additional clarity, always nice. Number 11, the interface of customer support is available in Russian. Congratulations if you speak Russian as a first language. Now you have customer support as a first language. Excellent, I'm all for those kind of changes. Extra inclusion is only ever a good thing. Number 12, more description added to some modules' tips, including the Higgs anchor, the reactive shield hardener, adaptive invulnerability field, reactive hardener, and adaptive armor hardener. Awesome, we're getting a bit more information on those, which again will help newer players understand what these modules and rigs actually do. It says including, so I'm not sure if that's the complete list, or if there are some more that they haven't listed here. You'll have to let me know if you spot one in the wild. I'll be interested to see how they've reworded those, what extra tips they've put on there. But certainly things like the Higgs anchor, I think, need a lot of clarification. Yes, I know, I need to go back and redo that video as well, because I was a little bit mistaken and not quite accurate in my description. Mistakes were made, mistakes will be rectified eventually. Number 13, players are unable to request shipping containers larger than the capacity of their current ships. Again, quality of life change for anyone who is into hauling and delivery. That's a nice little change. It means you can't accidentally select something that is too big for you and then just have this box stuck there that you can't do anything with and has cost you money. Players are unable to request shipping containers larger than that's the one we just looked at. 14 then, advanced mission rewards can now be claimed in the Capsuleer outpost. Excellent. Excellent. I'm assuming that's the, excuse me, I'm assuming that's things like the advanced tutorials and the new little missions that they've put in amongst those tutorials there, where you get rewards and you can claim them at any station. Now you can claim those in a Capsuleer Outpost too, which is a really good thing because those Capsuleer Outposts are becoming more and more commonplace, and a lot of people are using those now as main bases of operations, so you do really want to add all the functionality you can to those to cater to those players. 15, another one I really like here. Added avoid 0.0 navigation mode, which will avoid any 0.0 systems when planning routes. This is excellent for those people who might be jumping from system to system doing encounters and just unaware that that route might, even if they've gone for prefer safer, that route may jump you through a nullsec system, which means you could theoretically get caught in a gate camp, and there are some very enterprising pirates out there who have figured out which those systems are, those little nullsec pockets, and they will utilize that and abuse it. So for the casual player, that's an excellent little change that makes things safer, and it ties in quite nicely here with number 16. The current prioritize high sec or prefer safe navigation mode now has a higher priority of avoiding 0.0 systems. It's not going to exclusively get rid of those. If you want to absolutely guarantee that you never dip your toes in nullsec, you will need to still go for the avoid 0.0. But it's nice to know that even the generic routing will try and find a way around that doesn't jump through nullsec where available. 17. Now modules with a meta level of 5 can be reprocessed. This is all the basic storyline gear, like for example the Jolt autocannons, that kind of thing. Basic meta level 5 storyline gear. If you're like me, you've got a ton of this sitting around in your item hangers that doesn't sell for particularly much because of how ubiquitous it is. Now you can actually reprocess it and use those ores and minerals for building other things. Again, excellent quality of life change, all for that. 18. All members of an alliance will receive a mail notification when their alliance's maintenance fee is due. Okay, that's an interesting one. I wish there was a bit more choice to that. I don't think every member in an alliance need to know when the maintenance fee is due. I do think that all the CEOs and anyone of a particular rank should know. I just don't think that the guy who joined yesterday needs to know that our fees are due in a couple of hours. To me, it's nice that they're doing it to give you the extra warning, as, yeah, let's go on to a little sidebar here. Catskull disappeared as an alliance recently. We had a 48-hour period where suddenly our alliance no longer existed, because it turns out when you make an alliance on a particular character, in a particular corporation, if you then pass that across to a new corporation run by a different character, the game was still trying to collect the alliance fees from the original founding corporation, which, considering the original corp was an alt corp, had no money in it whatsoever, and our alliance was beautifully disbanded with a 24-hour cooldown before we could remake it. Plus, we obviously had to find another billion ISK to do so. But hey, so it's nice to know that the notification, you know, when that maintenance fee is due is coming. That's a nice change. I just wish you could choose who in your alliance actually got that mail. 19. Fixed the issue where avoiding certain systems could cause a wrong distance from the encounter mission to be displayed. This, again, is the memes that you've probably seen on Reddit, of where it's rather than like 14 or 18 jumps or whatever, it's like 24,986,342,876 jumps to your destination, which is just insane. It's a graphical display issue, but obviously they are now fixing that. So again, we're getting rid of the memes. Not sure how I feel about that. Of course I approve. Of course I approve. This is an amazing change. This one right here, I love. The power grid of the 4 ships of the Stabber Sniper, the Wreath class, the Bellicose Interdictor, and the Drake are replaced with 952, 340, 705, and 733. Now, the main one I want to talk about there, because the Wreath class, the Bellicose Interdictor, and the Drake weren't humongous problems. The Drake, yeah, was problematic, but it could be fixed. The Stabber Sniper, This was a big one. Again, I'm sitting on a stabber sniper at the moment, was waiting to do a video on it, but let's be fair, if you're going to go for a sniper ship, you're going to use the long-range weapons. In the case of the stabber sniper, that was of course going to be strike cannons. Now, we know strike cannons are power grid hungry, but they're considerably more power grid hungry than the current 500 megawatts of power grid could cater for. They've almost doubled the amount of power grid here. That allows you to actually fit a full brace of medium strike cannons, which I am super happy about. It makes the stabber sniper actually viable. Before, it was just not a ship. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. The bonuses were there, but the ability to fit it with the correct modules wasn't, and that has now been fixed, and I'm super happy about that. Again, I'm excited to be working on that video. 21. Mid-slot modules can no longer be used on Capsuleer outposts. I'll be honest, I wasn't aware you could put a Nosferatu on a Capsuleer outpost, but I'm kind of disappointed that you can't put a large neutralizer on anymore. Maybe we'll get new slots in the future specifically designed for Capsuleer outposts. 22. Added Thanksgiving gifts, which can be claimed on the event page, November 26th through 29th. Obviously, that's not going to be today, this will be up tomorrow, and 26th to 29th, those will be available, so make sure to log in and claim those. I'll be honest, I'm not American, and like the rest of the world that isn't American, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But I'm happy to join my American friends in receiving freebies in a video game. All for that. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you folks in America. Happy Turkey Day. Enjoy Black Friday and then the run up to Christmas. Hopefully, you know, just stay safe with the whole corona thing, you know. Wear a mask, socially distance where possible, and try to, you know, take care. Look after yourselves, folks. 23. Improves the display of special modules fitting permission. This, I think, is things like whether you can put strip miners on, shield field modules, interdiction sphere launchers, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that's a rewording. I've been crying out for it in so many videos, and I've given that feedback to the developers so many times. Fingers crossed that's finally getting sorted so that it actually reads properly and makes sense. I'll let you know. 24. Special reward emails from before can no longer be claimed after creating an account. Okay, that's interesting. Was there a way that you could kind of get special reward emails having created an account that were from before the account existed? I mean, that makes sense. That's a bug fix. That's not really a new feature. To me, that's more of a bug fix, but hey, there we go. 25. Added reinforcement exit time for Capsuleer outposts, which is a local time. Okay. So they're redoing how the Capsuleer outposts display their reinforcement exit time now. That's cool. 26. Added reminder prompts if the contract content is unreasonable. This is that kind of, you're trying to sell 50,000 ISKs worth of stuff for 500 million ISK. What's going on? Have you accidentally added an extra zero? Or are you trying to launder money? It's an extra notification, which I'm not normally all for. You know, I get a little bit annoyed when it's like pop up, pop up, pop up, are you sure, are you sure, are you sure? It's why I hated Windows Vista. Looks like you're trying to install this program, are you sure? Yes. This means you're going to need to give access to this program to the computer, are you sure? Yes. This could be harmful to your computer, for goodness sake, Vista. Yes. Uninstall, go back to XP. 27. Warp speed in high sec has been increased by 100%, and warp speed in low sec has been increased by 50%. This is a humongous change that I know a lot of people are going to be very happy about, as it brings a bit more of a mobile game aesthetic to EVE Echoes. It means that nullsec is still very much the home of those of us who want to spend a couple of hours online at a time, but for high sec now, if you're running encounters backward and forward, for example, in high sec your warp speed has doubled. So if, like me, you're a frigate pilot doing this kind of thing in interceptors, you've gone from 5.5 astronomical units per second up to 11 AU per second in high sec, and about 2.7 additional, so that's what, just over 8 astronomical units per second if you're in low sec, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that calculates with the Drumiel. Obviously 7.5 doubled would be 15, but does it double before the basic and then it applies the bonus? How that's going to work, I don't know. Theoretically, I could be getting 15 astronomical units per second warp speed in high sec in my Drumiel, which quite frankly is juicy as all hell. I really like that change. That's a big change. It doesn't affect anyone in a negative way. It helps everyone out. Even if you're in nullsec, it means that your runs to and from Jita to sell stuff on the market are gonna be faster now, and I'm all for that change. 28. Fixed the random order that is pinned to the top in seller orders. Okay, I'm assuming there was again a graphical bug where the order is incorrect in seller orders. I tend to just use the straight up market. I don't often use this kind of stuff. Obviously, being in a large alliance, I tend to have access to the loot that I want nice and cheaply. I don't really use the market that much, if I'm completely honest. But obviously, there we are. Again, that's more of a bug fix than a new feature, but cool that they're looking at it. 29, a reminder of the maintenance fee of the Alliance maintenance fee. Wow, okay, that's worded weirdly. Will be displayed on the main interface of the Alliance. Cool, so that's going to then be like your Omega subscription, that there is an actual, the money will be due on this date, which makes sure that you can prepare and make sure that the particular account in question has all the ISK required to maintain the Alliance, so you don't suffer like we did. 30. Added skins for several Tier 6 and Tier 7 ships. Yes! This will be amazing. I'm hoping some of those Tier 7 skins are to the assault frigates. That might be the one and only reason you will ever get to fly an assault frigate over any other frigate, the fact that it has skins. Maybe some of those Tier 6 ones might even include things like the faction frigates. Yes, I know it's not going to, but I can dream, Harold. Ultimately, extra skins is always cool. I'm always glad to have extra skins. Hopefully that's available in things like the Scholar Points system as well. That would be amazing. 31. Added skins for industrial ships and mining ships. I can hear the miners at the back crying out for joy, and there are some really cool ships in EVE Online, some really cool skins, in EVE Online for things like the Venture series. Very happy to see that those are being added to the game now. Some new retriever skins, that'll be cool. I'd love to see different looking retrievers as I pod them. 32. Looted ore will be stored in the ore hold of ships. Excellent. This means if you're running something like a mammoth in an ore hauling operation, and you're going to be looting out of out of a canister, it's going to go straight into your ore hold. And if, like me, you occasionally fly a battle venture, it means that if you do destroy a miner and he's got ore in his hold, you can loot it and it'll go straight into your own ore hold, rather than having to go via the interface and going in via the inventory menu, which was problematic at best, shall we say. So again, nice little change there. 33. Added auditing rules to the wallet auditing screen. Hopefully that's a kind of, this is why you're getting audited, which will be really nice to see, to actually get an explanation so that people can understand what causes this. A little bit, getting a few fewer messages from people going, why the heck, Benzie, am I getting audited for X, Y, or Z? That would be nice for me. 34. Improves the damage number display when the ships are hit. I'm hoping that's, obviously that's the combat log details that you see on screen. I'm hoping that's a way to streamline it so it isn't quite as intrusive over your locked ships. It's hell trying to tap on a ship that you've already locked, or one you're trying to lock onto a different ship, and just the combat numbers are getting in the way and stopping that. That, I'm hoping, is what's happened there. Interesting to see how they've done that. Improved the display of info and notice. That's a real clear patch note right there. I have no idea what that means. I'm guessing we're going to just have to find out, aren't we? 36. Now the addresses of the base stations and the Capsuleer outpost can be displayed on the bio screen. Nice. That just shows where you are actually based. And any Capsuleer outpost that you have anchored somewhere is displayed then on your character bio page, so it's a nice easy way for you to remember. Because I'll be completely honest, there are many times when I've sat there and gone, which station am I based at? Because I tend to change my base station fairly frequently depending on various different operations that I may be doing. If I'm doing content in HiSec, obviously I'll have it set to somewhere in HiSec, usually something like New Caldari or Perimeter. Sometimes I'll have it set to places like Tama, or even Accio, and it changes, so it's nice to be able to find a way that I can see straight up that's where I'm based. When placing a purchase order, you can select the addresses of all space stations within your current region and all trading centres in the universe. Okay, cool. That's a nice change there. Means you can buy stuff easier. I'm all for that. 38. When customising the name of a contacts group, players can now enter up to 20 characters. Again, good. I know obviously we're talking with a Chinese developer. Chinese developers, the Chinese language obviously uses a lot fewer characters per name or word. than Western languages do. Therefore, increasing the amount of characters does help us out in the West an awful lot, especially if you're from one of those countries that your language uses a lot more letters than some of the others. Basically, if you're not German, German seems to streamline things really nicely, whereas the rest of us just have these really horrific long ways of spelling things. It's probably one of the few times when I would actually advocate for using American spellings of words like colour and armour, where you blasted Yanks have dropped the U. Anyway, 39 added the available... I'm sorry, I don't hate my American followers, I promise you, that is meant as a joke. 39 added the available contract interface that can search for the whole service contracts. Okay. Added the available contract interface that can search for the whole service contracts. Again, I'm not entirely certain what that means there. That's a little bit badly worded. We'll have to see what that one means, maybe come back to it. If you've already had a look at this, have a look in the description below, and we'll, in the comment section below, I'm sure someone will have posted what that means for number 39. Number 40, adjusted the volume of the shutter after disassembly and packing. The volume of the shuttle. Sorry, after disassembly and packing the shutter. What is it, a camera? Cool, so yeah, again, it's more of a bug fix where it's just a bit loud as you hear that kind of vroom as your ship moves into there. 41, the blur layer on the main heads-up display has returned. Okay, I'm not sure what the blur layer was. Again, let me know in the comments below. Fixes then, we move on to next. The problem of using large drones in the recommended assembly plan for 8 attack battle cruisers. Good, this is, if you go into a ship you can go into recommended fittings. For some reason things like the Naga and the Oracle are suggesting using large drones despite the fact that the ship itself cannot fit them. 2. Fixed a bug where transactions between different characters of the same player still generate trade locks. Good. I actually had this bug myself, trying to send an Ashamu from my main character over to my cruiser alt, and it got locked behind another audit. Great fun. For those of you who have been waiting on that Ashamu video, that's why that one's not come out anytime soon. Glad that I won't have that problem again. 3. Fixed a bug where delivered empty assets aren't correctly destroyed. Okay, I think that's again with like your encounters, doing the delivery encounters where sometimes the items didn't disappear correctly from the hold and you're stuck with a bunch of marines in your cargo hold that you just can't get rid of, which in fairness, we've all been there. It's a horrid situation to be in. You just have to politely say to them, look guys, it's been lovely having you, we hope you enjoyed the turkey, happy Thanksgiving, but it is time for you to go now. Number 4, fixed a bug where the shield's force field is calculated into the capacitor need in the fitting screen. Okay, this is the shield field generator, I believe, where it was actually apparently on certain cases was showing up as using capacitor, despite the fact that there is no activation cost for having one of those running. So again, nice to see that fixed. Number 5, adjusted the special effects of sensor dampening to reduce RAM usage. Good. If you've watched a sensor dampener in action, it's a little bit more sparkly than the other E-War modules. Nice to see they've toned that down a little bit, especially for users who are on the lower RAM end of devices. Not everyone can have a 16GB RAM Asus ROG Phone 3, I get that. And again, inclusion is always a nice thing, and no, I'm not meaning that as a flex, I'm being genuine. Obviously, a lot of people who are playing this are doing so on phones with literally 3 or 4 gigs of RAM, if not even less. So anything that makes the game easier on them, I'm all for. It means we retain players for longer. Number 6 then, fixed some issues that would occur when a Capsuleer outpost was destroyed while in use. Simple, just don't get your Capsuleer outposts destroyed, you know. It seems like the obvious way to deal with that bug fix. 7, fixed the issue where wormholes could be searched in star charts. Ooh, I need more information on that one. If you have any information here on bug fix number 7, please report it to your nearest Captain Benzie. Anyway, folks, that really does round things up. There's a lot of stuff to go in here. The biggest changes for me are definitely the fact that we are now getting a buff to the Drake. We have the Stabber Sniper actually being fixed so it can fit blasted medium strike cannons, which is awesome. Felt kind of weird flying around in the Stabber using small strike cannons, but hey, still got better range than the autos, you know? And it's really nice there, the changes to the shuttles, getting them to warp faster. Having those shuttles now moving at 13 astronomical units in high sec is just awesome. I love that change to high sec and low sec warp speed increase. That's a really nice change that just helps people out and makes the game feel a bit more accessible. If you're going to be doing encounter running, you can now do it a little bit faster, and you can do it now on your lunch break rather than spending 20 minutes jumping from Jita all the way down to somewhere in Sync Liaison, only to then jump all the way down to Malden Heath and then come all the way back up to Black Rise. It's not fun doing 14, 15, 16 jumps at a time, so by making it faster, I'm all for that. And again, I say it means that my little runs to and from high-sec for whatever reason, if I'm going to the market or if I'm dropping stuff off for people, that's going to be a lot faster too. Happy, happy days. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, though, of course, in the comment section down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have tried to keep it a little bit more muted, a little bit more subdued, in a sense, just talking. I haven't put any background music on this one. Obviously, I don't have the video and the face cam or anything. It's just me talking about my opinions. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's something I just wanted to try out as an idea. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Otherwise, again, let me know what you think of this balance patch. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in this that I'm really looking forward to trying. I am filming this on the 24th, the evening of the 24th, ready to go live on the evening of the 25th. So obviously you guys should have had a bit of time already using this patch if you're watching this video as it launches. Anyway, folks, I look forward to hearing your opinions and your thoughts, having a conversation with you in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you for watching right the way to the end. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.